Welcome to Leveling Up with Lindsay, the podcast where we dive into leadership, small business, and everything in between. I'm Lindsay, your host and the proud owner of White Peony Boutique, a space created to empower women, build confidence, and foster meaningful connections. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a mom, a friend, or someone just looking for a little inspiration, this is your space to feel seen, supported, and inspired. Join me as we share stories, strategies, and a little bit of life's chaos while navigating what it truly means to level up in starting a business, relationship, and personal growth. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's level up together. Today's conversation is a really special one for me. There are some people in your life who don't just witness your journey, they walk it with you, season by season, decision by decision, doubt by doubt. Today's guest is one of those people for me. Mandi Moon and I started our businesses around the same time. Before the titles, before the strategies, before the polished language, there were late nights, voice notes, hard conversations, big dreams, and a lot of, are we doing this right moments? Mandi is the kind of leader who doesn't just build brands, she builds people. She sees what others miss. She brings clarity where things feel messy. And she has a rare gift for helping women lead with both confidence and conviction. Over the years, I've watched her grow from a woman figuring things out in real time into a trusted advisor, strategist, and now the founder of something incredibly intentional, the Legacy Brand Collective. This conversation isn't about quick wins or flashy success. It's about what happens after you take the leap. It's about why leadership can feel lonely and why it doesn't have to stay that way. Today, I'm not just interviewing Mandi, I'm giving her the space to lead us through a conversation she designed herself, rooted in experience, strategy, and heart. If you're a woman building something meaningful, if you've ever felt isolated at the top, or if you're craving clarity, connection, and sustainable growth, this episode is for you. Mandi, I am so proud of you, and I can't wait for everyone listening to hear exactly what you're building.
Wow, Lindsay, thank you. I couldn't have said that better myself.
Mandi, you and I started our businesses around the same time. Can you take us back? Take us back to those early days and talk about what that season felt like. Where were we at? Let's bring it back to the very beginning.
It is really crazy to think about. Doesn't that feel like literally another lifetime ago?
It kind of does.
It really
and then
does.
It kind of doesn't.
Yeah.
I still feel a little bit vulnerable in that state.
Yes. Yeah. Like do we know what we're doing? Yes, we do. Yes. Lindsay, you and I met, it's got to be over 10 years ago. It's pretty crazy, through some mutual friends. But we had a really unique period of time where you and me and a couple other friends of ours, like we all just decided to do our own thing, start a business, and we all went different directions, which I think is really fun. But we kind of all left corporate America all at the same time, which is strange. I was within a few months, within a year or so. So it was really kind of special to have that bond together.
Yeah. I think it was like a natural thing that just kind of brought us together even further. Very different places, very different directions. But there's something that like just naturally connected us, and we step by step, I don't know. You know.
I would say it came from a place of like, we don't know what the hell we're doing, like SOS, because we were friends already. We felt comfortable like asking each other for help and figuring out what to do. And we all of a sudden started the infamous group chat that is still active to this day.
100%.
We speak on the group chat every day, but it's like our safe spot, right? When we don't have time to meet up or we don't have time to, call on the phone or whatever, we're in the group chat asking questions, figuring things out. And honestly, I don't think that I would be the same type of person, the same type of business owner, if we didn't have that kind of special community at the beginning. It really helped kind of elevate at least me and launch and go and make decisions differently.
I completely agree, because there's just something when you can feel safe and vulnerable with a group and you don't feel alone. Like you said, we've talked about everything from being a mom to taking the leap to the most scared version of ourselves, to the happiest, most excited version. There's just something about not doing that alone, and the validation.
It's true. And when you said that just made me think, like, every big win passed through the group chat first. Like every major decision goes through the group chat first.
I love this group chat.
Yes, right. Every big win, every loss, every everything goes through the chat. It's like we experience it together, which makes it all the better. Now that I've been in business for a long time, and you've been doing this for what seems like forever, forever, but not forever.
Yes.
What I've noticed is that kind of connection is actually really rare. It was really special and really rare that we had that opportunity. And it's like, to me, I look out and see other women doing their thing on their own. And I'm like, man, you need community. You need support. How can we support you? And it's impossible, right, to support everybody that needs help on your own.
Yeah.
But I really, truly believe that support group is what made me who I am as a business owner.
If you're listening and you have that group of friends that you guys are communicating with and bring all of your highest wins and your lowest lows and your vulnerability to each other, but you can also empower, inspire, and motivate, I think you can kind of resonate with this a little bit. And if you don't, keep listening. When we had that group chat going in the beginning and we were getting through these times, I also remember saying, late nights where I was like, I just don't know what I would do without this outlet. I think it is so powerful. And at the time, I didn't realize how powerful it was until probably now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It definitely is a moment of reflection, especially when I'm working with businesses, I'm working with people, I'm working with entrepreneurs every day, and I see the struggles that they have, and they are consistent. Like, you might be an entrepreneur, or you might be a business owner, you might be a leader out there thinking, nobody knows the struggle. It's just untrue. Struggles are consistent with everybody. No matter what you're dealing with, somebody out there is dealing with it or has dealt with it. There is a path. There are solutions. There are ways to work around it, but you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes when you're so close to it, it is so helpful to have that group with different perspective to kind of help pull you out of your imposter. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, constant phone calls to Lindsay. Like,
that imposter syndrome. I mean, honestly, I don't know that I've spoke with one person that hasn't dealt with that in a time in their life. And if you haven't, more powerful
they're lying.
Yeah, I was like, more power to you if you haven't, but listen.
They're lying. It's lies.
I love that. So imposter syndrome is something I think everyone has battled with at different times in their lives. Having this group of women, each of us as our own business owners, and I think they're definitely looking back in the grand scheme of the last 10 years of us being friends and this group chat going, and even us going from corporate to that, there are definitely like cycles, patterns, I guess. And as everyone needs someone to lean on, emotional support system, your hype girls, all the things, ultimately it is up to you to put something into action. And I think that's kind of what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. So the group chat is very, very helpful. As Lindsay said, the hype girl status is super, super important to have your people that encourage you. But hype only takes you so far. You can only get your friends to be like, you got this, girl, for so long before, like you said, Lindsay, you have to take action. And there are many of us who are action oriented. You and I are very action oriented. But when you don't know what action to take, when you get to a place where we've never been here before, we don't know the roadmap, we don't know what to do. What people like you and I do instead is we just try this and we try this and we try that and we try this, and we're just going and trying until we're all of a sudden hustling and burnt out and you can't do anything anymore. We were lucky enough to get introduced to Kent, who we call our business
dad.
Kent is a strategic advisor. He has a company called 4G Consulting. Lindsay and I have been working with Kent for years. Yeah. Years and years.
Gosh, I think we're going on, is it 3 years for me now? I've known Kent we both have for a long time, but really working side by side with him has been the biggest blessing of my career. It has changed the trajectory, not only of my career, but of my confidence and standing in my strength.
Yes. I would agree with that. I mean, having a strategic advisor, having somebody who knows you and who we feel has our best interest in mind is probably the best thing you could ever do for your business. So Kent asked me to join 4G Advisory about a month ago, which was so crazy. I feel so honored. It's like a full circle moment.
When I heard of this, I was like, if anyone out there has worked with Mandi in the slightest, met Mandi, saw anything on her socials and her, past and all that she has done. Her career is incredible. Your career, I'm saying her, she's right here. Your career is incredible. Thanks, and knowing Kent I talk about my business advisor a lot to my friends and family, and I mean a lot. Like, I look at him as honestly an arm of my family at this point because I trust him. I'm so fortunate, and I know you can say the same, that we can trust him with like literally our everything. So when Mandi brought this up to me, I was like, are you kidding me? Absolutely. This aligns so perfectly in my mind, not just because I love them as friends that feel like family, but as an outsider, seeing what they're doing, their mission, their values, and everything, there is not a stronger, I think, partnership.
I'm very excited to be able to even just I'll say this, Kent asking me to join 4G Advisory as a strategic advisor feels like a full circle moment because Kent has like poured all of this time, energy, effort into helping me grow my business. And I feel like I've learned so much, not only from my own experience out on the field, but just from working so closely with Kent. And just to have the validation for him to be like, you're ready,
Yeah.
I totally feel it. And I just feel empowered to share all of these strategies, everything that I've learned from Kent, from my experience on the field with other women in business, because that cohort that we had that was so rare, I so strongly feel everybody needs that. Everybody needs that. Everybody deserves to find their people.
Everybody deserves.
They deserve to find their people because it should not be lonely at the top. You should not feel lonely and isolated as a business owner. You shouldn't have to feel like you're compromising your relationships in order to be quote unquote successful. It should go hand in hand. Your work life should match your home life and things should be aligned. It should feel right.
I love that. I could literally speak from a mountaintop to this. As starting a business on my own, I legitimately felt, yes, you have friends, great family who support you, but it is a very lonely place. And in the beginning, I was definitely the one who was like, I'm going to prove myself. I'm going to do all these things, running honestly like a chicken with my head cut off because I thought I had to prove. And we've talked about this, Mandi, you and I, so many times, like the hustle moments, all the things. But what I stand in now that I had to go through myself a little bit, and I do not recommend, is not doing it alone. Kent and you and the incredible community that we've built kind of on the back end business-wise is that you should have your own team on the back end. If you're a business owner or a really strong leader, I'm telling you, you should not do this alone, but be strategic about this. And it has to align, like Mandi said. And I love how you say it that way. Don't do this alone. If you're even looking to start a business, if you're 2 years in a business, if you're 5 years in a business and you're like, I'm tired, I need help, don't do it alone. I strongly encourage you to keep listening here because this is going to be pretty incredible. Let's talk a little bit. Now we're going to get to the fun stuff. The fun stuff. There's one thing that I feel passionate about, and I know I listen with all ears when Mandi talks about legacy and in her branding. And you maybe can give people a little bit of background about your branding experience, because there are many times with people who come to me with marketing questions. And actually, I just had a senior and I'm mentoring someone now.
Gosh,
yeah.
fun.
And we're talking about different things with branding, and I instantly bring you to the table in that piece of marketing. Anyways, but what makes this so much stronger is you always talk about legacy brands. Explain a little bit of background and then talk to everybody here of what that means.
To me, a legacy brand is a business or a brand that's rooted in clarity, conviction, and consistent action. So when I work with clients, I like to work with people who are not just out there building their business, selling things to sell, growing to grow. I want to work with people who are thinking about the end in mind, thinking about the story they want to tell, the impact that they want to leave through their work. So a legacy brand has alignment between their values, their decisions, the systems they create, and then the story that they tell. A lot of times I'll come into a company as a brand marketing consultant and they'll ask me about advertising spend. They'll ask me about the actual function of marketing, but won't take a look at what they're actually trying to say, the impact that they're trying to leave. And that's just not a good fit for me. Legacy brand focused people are people who focus on impact. They want to be aligned first before they grow. So legacy brands are built with the end in mind. It's the story that's going to be told about you, the story that's going to be told about the work that you do, and the impact that you leave. At the end of the day, all we have is our legacy, right? When we're gone, when we're dead and gone and all of our stuff is gone, all that's left are the stories that are told about us. And for the people that are out there thinking, I want to make massive impact, I want to help, I want to make a difference, I want to change by way of my business, by way of the work that I'm putting out into the world, those are my people.
Legacy is something so important to myself, and I'm going to take it a little more deep. I used to work in the corporate America world. There were often people who left the room, and you unfortunately were like, oh man, they brought the whole attitude down. Or there's someone that walked in a room that inspired the heck out of me, that I was like, I need to have a higher frequency. I need to be more on point. I'm more motivated because they came in the room. And I started understanding what legacy truly meant. Then, growing up, I had a grandfather that I was incredibly close with. You guys have probably heard me talk about this. And he was an incredible business owner. We have the Minnesota State Fair stands. And of course, you don't take anything for granted. I did not growing up. I was so grateful for the time with him and the things that we did. But it wasn't until he passed away and I stayed for the week at my grandmother's house before his funeral. And I put together his picture board. That was my thing. Well, when I was going through all the pictures, I found all of these articles in the newspaper, you guys, when my grandfather, it would have to have been 60 to 70 years ago. These newspaper clippings, these things that were mailed to him, his achievements, and all his different businesses. And as I'm putting these papers on this board one by one, remembering how he made me feel, remembering the impact he left with me, looking at how he impacted so many other people, I was so inspired by his legacy that I actually, and we've talked about this, but I forever want to do better. I want to leave a better impact, whether it's in a room I just got out of a meeting or whether it is how you look at how I'm doing business. So for me, this is incredibly important. I think it's incredibly important to be mindful as an individual, as a professional. And, of course, if you're a business owner, legacy is something that I don't think we talk about enough. And I think that the impact is so powerful. So for me, I hope this is a constant conversation. Yeah. And of course, Mandi, with your legacy brand that you talk about, you've helped me take it deeper because of my why and talking, of course, about my grandfather. And it's made me a better human, business-wise and individually. So
I love that story. And I think that that's why legacy is so powerful and so important is with the passing of your grandfather, his legacy lives on and it still inspires you to this day. The impact is infinite. You're inspired, therefore you go out to create more impact and inspire others. That's why I think legacy is important to both of us, because we can see, we can feel, we can tell how much impact stories have. And that's kind of everything.
So with all of this being said, you brought to me the Legacy Brand Collective. And, I think listeners now kind of have an idea where this came from, but how did all of this turn into the Legacy Brand Collective?
Yes. So for the last few years, I've been out brand consulting for bigger businesses, and it's been very fun. I've learned a ton about leadership, about strategy, about AI recently, right? Yeah. I've learned a lot about communication styles and organizational structures. But what I will say is that my heart has always been with the startup entrepreneur. And I've been trying to find a way to be able to help people in that place, because women come to me every day. They slide into my DMs. I get LinkedIn meeting requests every day, and I meet with women every day. And they tell me their problems, and I will tell you, it's the same. Everybody struggles with the same stuff. No matter how isolated you feel, no matter how unique your problem sounds, everybody has the same issues when it comes to trying to build a business and build the life that you want to live. And I've been just struggling, trying to find a way to help all these people. I'm out here building my own business, working with corporate, and we have all these people here. I'm like, how am I going to help? Now, With joining Kent at 4G, I have structure, I have the strategy, I have everything that I need in order to help these women. And now I just have to go for it, right? I'm like, it's here. It's here.
Yes.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm here for it.
So excited. I really am so excited to be able to offer this to people who don't have easy access to it. This stuff, coaching, consulting, strategic advisory is expensive. And there's a reason why only corporate people can afford it.
Yes, very
There's
true.
a reason why only big businesses can afford strategic advisors, right? I don't want that to be the case. I want this information. I want these strategies. I want these structures to be available to everyone, available to people who are willing to take action, willing to do the work to get it done.
Absolutely. So plain as day, what is this collective, the Legacy Brand Collective? And then how is this different from other groups out there?
Yes. I think early in our journey, when we started our business, we were like, okay, what are you supposed to do in order to network? There are all these networking events. There are all these executive peer groups that we could join. I remember starting out and going to my first networky thing and being like, everybody knows what they're doing and I don't know anything. Everyone has a commercial. Everyone knows everybody else's commercial, and just feeling so on the outside and feeling so lost and so like, I do not belong here. All these networking opportunities that feel like you have to put on a curated front in order to be taken seriously. But there wasn't a place I could go to be like, I don't actually know what I'm doing, but you should hire me anyway. There wasn't a place to go. I don't actually know what I'm doing. I need structure. I need a roadmap and a safe place to ask these questions. And so the Legacy Brand Collective started out of that need for myself. When I first started and when you and I first started, when our friends first started, we had a safe place to ask those questions. Everybody needs a safe place to ask the questions. Yes. The difference is now I have structure, strategy, experience to add to that safe space. So it is a cohesion of a place to get real deep and to figure out your values, your brand alignment before we dive into strategy, structure, finances, all of that. The Legacy Brand Collective is really a curated experience. It's really, really specific for the right type of person. And when I say the right type of person, I do not mean the person who has it together, the person who has their shit together. I don't mean that type of person. The Legacy Brand Collective is for the business owner who is ready to make a change, who is ready to stop hustling just for hustle's sake, who's ready to grow their business in alignment with intentional, actionable steps, who needs the roadmap. There are a lot of masterminds, there are a lot of executive peer groups out there. What makes the Legacy Brand Collective different? For me, starting with alignment first, before we start on strategy, before we start talking about action items, alignment is key. You need to understand your brand values. You need to understand messaging. You need to understand everything that makes you go, makes you tick, before you can even think about making those other decisions. What business owners often fail to do is take the time to do that for themselves first. You're so busy running and doing and going and making things work. Taking the time to step back and really think about those things for yourself feels like a luxury, but it is not. It is essential to get aligned. So we focus on alignment first in order to attain sustainable growth. Second, we focus on connection and strategy. You need to have that safe space. You have to have that group chat. You have to have the group chat. You have to have the safe space in order to ask the questions. But you also need strategy. You need both. You can't just have that soft, safe place to land. You also need that push, and you need the roadmap, and you need the strategy. The Legacy Brand Collective does both. We have the collective and we have the roadmap. We also are focusing on AI, which I think is very scary.
It is, but it's huge.
It's huge. It's not going away. And I understand there are a lot of people very, very scared of it. The really fun thing about partnering with Kent and 4G Advisory is that we've created our own proprietary AI. So it's safe. It's not ChatGPT where your financials or your customer information or your strategies are out there in the world. It's private. It's proprietary. And through the Legacy Brand Collective, you can get access to that proprietary AI without the giant, dollar sign piece that comes with, most corporate situations. Also, it's a very small cohort. Sometimes networking groups get big, they're scary, they're loud, there are people walking around trying to sell you their goods or services, and there's a time and a place for that, and I think that part of networking is very important. But this cohort, the focus is very different. We're not here to sell to each other. We're here to help each other grow and to help our business grow in a sustainable way. So a small cohort, 6 to 8 to 10 women maximum. Additionally, it's a 12-month commitment. It's a high accountability, high support environment. So if you decide to join the collective, first there's an application process, a high vetting process. I want to make sure I find the right fit people for the project. It is high accountability, but it's high yield reward. You're going to get a ton out of the experience.
Well, I love that. I think it's important. Do not be afraid of the process in this application. I think it's very important to line the right people in this cohort too. It doesn't mean you have to have the same, it's not going to be the same businesses, right? It's going to be different, but it just...
all different industries, all different backgrounds.
Yes. If you're on the same page and you're here for the same mission is what is the most important to you. If you are the doer wanting to take it to the next level.
The doer wanting to take it to the next level. I'm not looking for people who want to show up prime and prepped and pristine and curated. I'm looking for the woman who wants to show up raw, who wants to show up and get done.
Yeah. Like you almost have to, what I found to be the strongest growth period is when I opened my whole self up as vulnerable as I could be. Doug, you made me dig like really, really deep into my whys. And then I was so fortunate to have a business consultant, and of course you in my circle, to push me into the next action steps. I'm a doer. I always have been, but for me, it's like slowing down to align my values, my worth in my work and moving forward.
Yes, I think that's actually the problem with most doers is we will just do. We will just do, hustle until something works. Why do that when you can have a roadmap? Why do that when you can have support? Why run around when you don't have to be doing that?
Love that.
So the Legacy Brand Collective, this is for doers who want to feel proud of how they're leading, how they're living, how they're building businesses. It's for you, girl.
I love that. It's like standing in your confidence more than you ever have. And I think that how I said that was pretty vague, but like I've gone through this process myself, and I am telling you what, standing even in the economy, the world is a roller coaster. In standing in what you bring to the table, standing in your values, standing in what you leave as far as your legacy, this could not be more important for your growth and your leveling up.
Correct. So who is the Legacy Brand Collective for? Who's a good fit for the collective? Because if we're honest,
this is a good question.
It's not a good fit for everyone.
Yes.
And that's really hard for me to say because I'm an includer. I want everybody to be included. Yes. I don't want to leave anybody out. But this experience, this process really is for a specific type of woman. We're looking for women who are 2 to 5 years in business, I would say. So you've taken the jump, but you are really looking for your next step for the roadmap. Or maybe you're someone in business who's like making a large pivot, a big change, and you need, again, a roadmap to make that big change for yourself. We're also looking for women who are ready to be like truly vulnerable, who are ready to say, I need help in this area, which is hard to do. We're told to fake it till you make it, right?
Yes.
You got to fake it till you make it. You walk in the room, pretend like you know what you're doing. Otherwise, you won't get taken seriously. We're not looking for that in this space. We need people who are going to say, hey, this is where I want to focus because I need help here. And if you can't say that, that's okay. Like you're not ready for this quite yet. We're looking for women who are really interested in leveraging collaboration, leveraging networks. I would say that was a huge part of our successful group chat, right? Leveraging each other's networks, really holding each other up. And then also we're looking for women who are truly interested in sustainable growth. We're not looking for quick fixes. We're looking for long-term strategy. And for people who are truly just willing to be coachable and accountable. People who will be accountable for the actions that they take, for their next steps. I mean, I think you can sum that all up as you're a doer.
Yeah.
You're absolutely. A doer, like me and Lindsay, doers.
Doers. So what I love so much is the platform that you're providing, the organization behind this, behind the leveling up essentially. But here's what I would love to know, like the outcome. Ultimately, This is going to be a collective group of incredible women. But when they go through this, tell me how you want people to feel when they're coming out of this. Like a 12-month commitment, you're going through a process of one-on-one together, group effort. It's going to get, I'm sure, intense, vulnerable, very inspiring and motivating. So anyways, when the 12 months is done, what does that look like? What are you hoping people walk away?
Yes, at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to say that there are going to be a lot of really specific outcomes after experiencing the Legacy Brand Collective. But if I was going to sum it up in one line, I would say that women will look back at this decision to join the Legacy Brand Collective and say, that was the year that changed everything for me. What I hope that people experience are clarity in decisions, confidence in the direction of your business. What we didn't have, right?
Yes.
Confidence in the roadmap, confidence in where we're going. People will experience strategic growth instead of chaos. I mean, I think that we kind of stumbled through it, right, Lindsay?
Yes.
I mean, we're just kind of, until we met Business Dad, right, stumbling through, making decisions, hustling here, there, and everywhere. The benefit of having a strategic advisor or consultant is that they have the roadmap, right? Mm-hmm. This cohort provides the roadmap and the support. You're going to feel support instead of isolation. Nobody should ever feel lonely at the top. If I could leave anything in this world, it would be that. It would be that. It would be a change in perspective. It is not a dog-eat-dog world out there, ladies. You do not need to be lonely at the top. You don't have to be, can I say a boss bitch? You don't have to be you don't have to be a crazy person to claw your way to the top. You can build the life that you want to live. You can build the business that you want to build without losing yourself.
I love that. A little mic drop there, please.
Mic drop.
If there's someone listening right now and this resonates with you in any way, shape, or form, if you want to take the next step in your entire leveling up in your journey as a professional, as a business owner, what do they do? What is the first step in all of this, Mandi?
I'm just very excited to be launching this with you, Lindsay, in real time. As this episode drops, applications will be open.
Literally.
Boom.
Literally.
Episode drops, applications open. So you can find the application and more information about the actual process, more detailed information about what we're going to learn at www.thelegacybrandcollective.com. The Legacy Brand Collective, there is an application process. Yep. The application process is not a sign-up or an enrollment. It's simply to see if we are a good fit for each other, if the collective is the right fit for you and you are the right fit for the collective. So I would just encourage you to listen to your intuition. Is this a good fit for me or not? Because like I said, it is not right for everybody, but it is so right for the right people.
So ultimately, if this sits with you, if this is burning something inside of you, you know that you can now go to the website to fill out an application. You could reach out to Mandi with any questions on a personal level. Absolutely. So if there's one question I want to leave with everyone listening to think pretty internally, think for themselves of what legacy means to them. If there's a message that you want to leave and that we should leave for those listening about legacy, what does that mean to you, Mandi?
Yeah, we talk about legacy this, legacy that, but all it really is, all your legacy is the stories that are told about you and your work long after you're gone. And the more clear you can be, the more intentional you can be about the stories that you're telling today, the stronger your legacy is going to be tomorrow.
Mic drop. I could not agree with you more.
We got it out there.
All right.
So join the collective, join a group of like-minded women, build your business, get after it, take actionable steps, live your life, build the life that you're proud of.
Your life.
Build a life that you're proud of. I think what triggers it for me is when you're at corporate world and you have corporate Lindsay or corporate Mandi, and then you have at-home Lindsay and at-home Mandi, and those two people are totally different people. They wouldn't even like each other.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
That is a life lived misaligned. When you can be the same person at work, at home, in the community, and you're acting out of your values in all of those places, that is a life aligned. You get to wake up every day and be that same consistent person. To me, that's happiness. To me, that's peace. Not having to worry about fitting yourself into all these different categories.
I love that. Mandi, as we close this conversation, I want to say this. What you're building isn't just a program. It's not just a collective. It's not just another space for women in business. It's permission. Permission to stop doing this alone. Permission to lead with intention instead of exhaustion. Permission to build something you're proud of, not just something that looks successful from the outside. And on a personal note, Mandi, you're not just someone I've interviewed today, of course. You are my friend. You've been in the trenches with me. You've seen the behind-the-scenes moments, the doubts, the big decisions, and the seasons where leadership felt so heavy. I look up to you so much, not just for your strategy or your intelligence, but for the way you lead with integrity, humility, and heart. So intentionally makes me so incredibly proud to call you my friend. I know firsthand how powerful it is to have women in your corner who will tell you the truth, challenge your thinking, and still believe in you on the hard days. And I wish truly that something like this existed when I was just here starting out.
Yes.
If you're listening today and something in this conversation stirred your heart, trust that. This isn't about chasing the next thing. It's about building what lasts. Because a legacy brand isn't built in isolation. It's built in clarity. It's built in community, and it's built by women who are brave enough to say, I want to lead well, not just grow fast. Mandi, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for creating
Lindsay.
this space you once needed, and now so many others do too.
So excited. Can't wait. Let's go.
I love it. Thank you for listening. If you found this information helpful, please share it with a friend. If you're looking for more information on the topics we covered, please head to the show notes below. And if you wouldn't mind leaving a 5-star rating and review, this would help this mission and our journey to get started. Let's make today and every day an opportunity to level up. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep striving, and keep making a difference.